I think it's very, very important to listen to children because they are here as well for their own purpose. But whoever is a parent need to guide them because that child is going to become an adult and have their own life, have their own journey. And whatever they get in their little childhood would help them to get that good foundation so that they grow up. And it's so important for parents as well to praise the children, build the confidence. I think the greatest gift a parent can give to a child is build the confidence of children. Never put children down, never say you can't do that.
Rani, it's great to have you with me today. And we've been going back and forth for a little while now, and I know that you're in the UK and I'm in the US, and so this is great that we're able to communicate on a Saturday in the morning for me, and I know was it late morning, early afternoon for you, I guess?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, so I appreciate that, and I also appreciate the connections we've been having back and forth lately, and and how we connected through Sinet was a blessing as well. So I'm just going to open up and have you just share with everybody, who are you and, what are you doing today? And then we'll just travel and how you got to where you are today.
Yes, thank you so much, John. It's been a long time since we talked, and I am really looking forward to talking to you today. So it's great to be on your platform to share with your audience. And I'm very grateful for Sanet. She has connected us to each other. So who I am based in the UK. My name is Dr. Rani Thanacoody. I have a PhD in management, and I am originally from Mauritius, a small island in the Indian Ocean. So that's where I'm born, and I move around the world, studied in Australia, most of my postgraduate studies, then work a bit in China, and been to the UK for the past 14 years. And I am a full-time academic. I teach human resource management, and part-time, I've got a lot of things that I do. So I am a clinical hypnotherapist. I use rapid transformational therapy method. I am also a Mars Venus life and relationship coach. I am an astrologer, tarot reader. I am a past life regression practitioner. I am a compassion practitioner and a chakra practitioner. So I do a lot of things. And I have been doing that for the past three years since the pandemic hit. I realized that I needed to look within myself. Where were the patterns of bullying coming from? I was moving, John, from one job to another for the past 10 years. And it's very troublesome because not only in the UK, I was moving job, but I had to relocate because the jobs were far away. And I wanted to understand why that same pattern was being repeated. And the pandemic was a great time to focus on me. And I realized that I needed to find out this time. I can't wait. I need to see where it's coming from. And I started that journey of personal growth. And the first course that I've been looking for years, I've been looking since 2014 until the pandemic hit. That's when I found the course that I wanted. I say, I don't want to go to uni again. I've got so many degrees. These degrees didn't help me. I want something more practical that helped me to go within. And that's when I started training as a clinical hypnotherapist. I never trained to help anybody at the beginning. I trained to help myself. Because in the course, you get to practice and other people practice on you. So you get to go deeper within yourself. So that was a life-opening experience for me. And it helped me to understand where all this bullying started. It's from my very childhood, where I never felt good enough. I lost my grandmother at 4, and that was the greatest love of my life. And when she was gone, it's like my family were there, my parents were there, but they were, our parents they have a lot of things to do. They have to keep the household running. They have to look after my younger sister. So they were really busy. My dad used to be an entrepreneur, so he had his own school. So that was taking a lot of his time. And my mom was busy looking after my sister. So I felt a bit left aside. So like our parents, they do their best to meet our needs, but we always have needs that were not met the way we wanted as a child. So I never felt that my family gave me enough love that I wanted, enough time. So I was almost always by myself, trying to fend for myself. Though my parents would give me food, they gave me the basic, but never time. And this is what I needed, time and sharing. And I felt very lonely growing up. And then that loneliness also led me at that age of 4, just after my grandmother passed away, to be sexually abused as a child. Because it's the energy I was carrying of that child who is abandoned, desperate. So you attract predators. So you attract those kind of people. And my parents find out, changed my kindergarten, and then I moved to a school. I was bullied by the teacher just for speaking up, just telling the teacher that other classmate was not talking, and the teacher was so upset and started bullying me ever since I was in that school. And I was so scared, I tell you. And that grew up later. Not in the secondary school, I was fine. I was okay. But as I started looking for jobs, then the issues became bigger and bigger until I started to address it. And I must say, this is the first time in my life I've been in the same job, and in September is going to be 7 years. So I am really proud of myself.
That is awesome. Congratulations with that one. You have quite a journey, and I know you just touched some basic areas on that. But so you mentioned bullying, and would you consider that physical and emotional for you?
It was physical and emotional when I was a child. The teacher that bullied me, he used to tell me he would cut my hair. I used to tie my hair like a pony, on the side like that. And he said, I would cut your hair. And I was so scared, I tell you. I never told my parents until I left that school, because I never felt safe at home, I never felt that somebody would listen to what I have to say, and what I have to say was important. So, and also my family was very strict towards me. And I would say then this carried on. Sorry, John, can you repeat your question? I might have been lost.
Yes. No, you're fine. Yeah, I was asking if it was emotional and physical abuse for you. Yeah.
It's both. It's physical at school, and then in the job it was more emotional, I would say. So as a child it was physical and emotional, but as I grew up it was more emotional, because of because it's a lot when you are by yourself and you have these issues at work. It gets a lot into you, and you don't have people that understand the kind of issues you are facing. It's not easy to find people who would understand that. And only when you have a therapist, and the right kind of therapist as well, because some therapists, they do not understand, because if they haven't faced these issues themselves. So, so that's what I would say.
Yeah. So now you're an adult, you worked on yourself, and you know what bullying is and what it did to you. Would you go back and say that teacher, because it sounds like that teacher was a big impact on you as far as, putting you down. And would you say that teacher was projecting something onto you from whatever he was experiencing somewhere else before?
I am sure he was projecting. What he was projecting on me was, when I look at him now, I can see he was very strict, like my family. And children was seen but not heard, definitely. And I was so scared of him, I would say. I can see him even right now in front of me. Oh my God, he had a beard, he had black hair, and he would stare at me. And I was really, really scared. As a child, I was 7 or 6, and having somebody who would be always after you when you come at the school gate. He used to stand outside, and that was really scary. My dad was next to me, but I don't know, I never told my dad about it because of the fear at home of not going to be understood, That's
Yeah.
why I kept it to myself, because I had been abused first time at 4, and I remember that didn't go so well when I mentioned it. So when I say, the child will interpret that it's not safe to tell the parents, the caregivers. So the child will try to develop their own, like I developed my own coping mechanism to stay strong, to make as if nothing is happening, and to just carry on with life. So as children, we all develop some kind of coping mechanism in order to survive. That was my way of surviving, to keep it to myself, because it wasn't safe. I didn't feel safe at home to express it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can see that. So you expressed your emotions and stuff when you were 4, and then they shut you down in a way, right? Not listening to you, not providing the love and respect that you thought was there. And then something else happens, and obviously you're not willing to share it because you already expect the same reaction, I would imagine,
Yes. Yeah.
That's a huge impact, not just for yourself, right? But for everybody else that's probably experiencing as well. And as a parent, we don't look at that as a kid, or your child, taking that, so I think it's too late sometimes when people look back and they go, I wish I did this differently, because they're focused on work. They're focused on getting the money to provide the house and stuff like that, instead of growing and having that loving relationship with their children, which, like you said, they need, they really need that bonding, because that's going to carry out through life. They're not going to, they'll remember you always working, right? But you're never around. So that's what they're going to ingrain. And then they're just going to be probably those workers too, and the same people. But so I was the time with the family. I mean, how much time would you say that you spent with your family, throughout the period of them working and stuff and you being a kid? I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot.
Very little, very little, because they were very busy. And I would say very, very, very little, because my mom had to look after my sister, who was quite demanding at that time. She used to cry a lot, so that would take a lot of her time that she could have given me. And then she has to look at the home and the household chores. And my dad was always, because he had his own business, so we know about having our own business, how much time and energy we have to put in. And it's not their fault, I realized that. But what the child understands is, whenever things happen in the home, the child never blames the parent, And even when I talk to my clients, they have been through so much, but children never blame their parents, because for us, the parent is our little God, our God, We look up to them, we respect them. They are the first 2 people that we saw in our lives. So we never thought, even if they do bad things to us, they beat the children, they beat us, they scold us, we start then to feel confused. We start to develop our own coping mechanism, and we start to feel guilt, to blame ourselves, that it's our fault. That's why our parents are doing that to us. And as a child, I always knew there was something not right, but I never thought that, because for me, my parents were the most important people in my life. So I would always take the blame. I would always take the guilt, and thinking that I'm not loved, starting to develop my own belief. I'm not loved. I do not belong to this family. I feel completely disconnected with myself because of all the traumas. Because when we have trauma like that, it's not only what happened to us, but it's like Gabor Mate said, it's what happened inside of us. Those emotions that we keep inside, that we can't express. And as we grow up, then we start to disconnect with who we really are because we haven't been able to express ourselves to be who we are as a little child as we grow up. And we've been conditioned by, and we've got those survival mechanisms we've developed. So we cannot be ourselves. So we try to not to make our family angry. So we try to keep our mouth shut and stay quiet. I used to do that a lot. Otherwise, there will be a lot of punishment if I would I tried to stand up for myself, but it was really hard. My parents were very, very strict. So, yeah, and then I went to a school as well, which is even more strict. I went to a Catholic school run by the nuns. That was so strict. So can you imagine? At home it is strict, and at school it is very strict. So no way to express myself. But my other friends, at home, things were more that they could be themselves. So at school, they were able to express themselves. I was the quietest child in the school. Even until 18, my friend used to say that. And even if you ask my friend, they would say, yeah, you were so quiet, so shy at school. I would never talk. I would just, it's as if I was frozen. You know, when you are in such a deep state of trauma that you've experienced as a child, you dissociate with your body as well, and you are not able to connect with others. So I had a complete disconnection with myself and with the people around me. And that's made me feel very, very, very lonely as a child and growing up until I started to heal myself and understand where. So when I started to peel the layers, it wasn't only the bullying, you see. So there was the feeling of not enough, not being loved, and now feeling lonely. So there were a lot, and also feeling guilt, feeling lack of trust. I can't trust people. And all this, as a child, all these issues affected my relationship with people at work, with my friends. I never had very long-time friends. I do have friends, but not that many. And I would change friends very often at school, I remember, because I couldn't connect, but it wasn't them. It was the connection with myself that I lost in that process as I grew up. So I would say to parents who are listening today, your children do not need all the money, all the toys that you give them. They don't need the food that you want to give them. Like, I know some parents give their children a lot of food and they think that will make the child happy. No, give the child that time where you listen to them and you let them speak. And I was talking to clients recently who really don't listen to their children, and they get really upset when their children talk. And I say, listen to your child, because the children nowadays, they are so intuitive. They are your greatest teacher. Whether they are telling you something good or something bad, they are trying to reflect something to you that you are doing. So it's so important. It doesn't matter how old we are, but children need to be respected, you know, for who they are. And there was a song that always stays with me. That's and even I think in the Bible, it said, whoever hurts a child, there's something like that. Whoever hurts a child, it's not good. I think Jesus said something like that in the Bible. And that stays with me. And I always remember, yes, because children are innocent. You know, when they are up to until the age of 5, they cannot process things by themselves. That's why they need the parents. So the parents really need to give them that love, that protection, that care, because those little beings, they can't process information by themselves until they start to make more sense of the world after 5 or 6. So it's very important for parents, I would say, to give your children the gift of time and the gift of your time, because these children will grow up. John, I have seen my nieces. They were babies. I was holding them. It didn't seem like long ago, but now they are 9 and 11. And now they are their own being, you know? They want to do their own things. So I am so glad I made the most of the time I had when they were little. I used to play a lot with them and sit with them, play with their dolls. Even if I didn't like it, I got so tired because children never get tired, John.
Yeah. That's so true.
They didn't get tired. And I remember sometimes they would say, when we finish one game, what is the next? Oh my God. I say, oh my God. I was exhausted at one point, and my niece couldn't understand that. She was 2 years old. And I said, you know, I'm so tired. Give me a bit of time. Give me 30 minutes to rest. And she was crying. And I remember my mom say, okay, I'll play with you. But I'm glad I did it the maximum I could, because now children, that's what they will remember, the time that you spent with them, the love you gave them, the care you gave them. And that will help them to grow as adults who are secure within themselves, who can form connection with people, who can trust people. So I think giving children that time and listening to them, because children are so intelligent and they remember everything. They even remember their past lives, you know. I was reading a book, and Dr. Wayne Dyer wrote a book where he wrote with somebody else, he made a recollection of children under 3, what they remembered from their past lives. And they do remember a lot because, you know, they just came from that past life when they were. So they are very new to this world, so they remember. But as they grow up, they will forget. So I think it's very, very important to listen to children, because they are here as well for their own purpose. But whoever is a parent need to guide them, because that child is going to become an adult and have their own life, have their own journey. And whatever they get in their little childhood would help them to get that good foundation so that they grow up. And it's so important for parents as well to praise the children, build the confidence. I think the greatest gift a parent can give to a child is build the confidence of children. Never put children down, you know, never say you can't do that, you are too stupid. I have heard of that. I have heard of parents doing that. And the child doesn't know, but then the child grew up with those kind of belief. I can't do it. I'm not enough. I am not beautiful. I am ugly, you know, and that affects them their whole life. So the greatest gift a parent can give a child is build the confidence. Praise your children when they do well. Encourage them, because they can do anything they want. So build that confidence and that self-esteem, and they will be amazing individuals. And that's what Marissa Peer said as well. Because when we do sessions with adults, you won't believe it, John, most of my clients, they lack self-esteem. Most of them lack self-esteem and lack confidence. That's why they have those fears. They have anxiety. They have depression. Depression comes from hurt words they say to themselves. And also it comes from them not being able to let go of their past. So all the clients, I would say, have self-esteem issues. And self-esteem issues, it affects all areas of your life. I never had self-esteem as well. I had to work on my self-esteem the past 4 years so that I could speak up, I could believe in myself, and it's a work in progress. It's not done. We are all work in progress, so it's about continuing to build that, because when we stop, we are not growing, you know? We have to keep learning, keep evolving, keep becoming a better version of ourselves every day. So self-esteem is the key to everything, to finding a job, to finding a partner. It's about believing in yourself, believing that you are enough, that love is available to you, and that you are here for connection, and you are not different from anybody else. We are all the same. We are all unique, but we are all the same. We are not different. Yes. And I was reading a great book. It's called A Radical Awakening by Dr. Shefali. I just got that book as a gift, and it talks about all that, all the disconnection, all the belief that we make as children in our little minds, yeah, and how important it is as we grow up to do the work. That's why I would say to people, invest in yourself. And I wrote a chapter in the book called Love and Coaching with Dr. John Gray and 30 other coaches from the Mars Venus Academy. And my chapter is called The Best Investment You Will Ever Make. And I share my journey a little bit and how I got into hypnotherapy and coaching, and how these modalities have changed my life completely. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in front of you today, John. If I haven't done the work, I wouldn't be here today. I would have been somewhere else, hiding somewhere, hiding myself, and not being able to be who I am really meant to do, not being able to share my gifts and my talents. And doing the work has helped me to find out so many things about myself. I never liked peanut butter, for example, John. As a child, I never could smell it. But now I love it. I say, wow, why did I not like it before? It's like, it's a journey of rediscovering myself when I did all this work on myself. And I found out that I love painting. So now every month, I go for 2 hours and do some painting, and I come back with my painting. It's like I go on so many podcasts. I have my own podcast. It's like now I have a voice. So I open myself, but I would say without having done the work, I wouldn't have been able to do all that. I have written, co-authored on books, and it helps anybody as you go within to bring out all the gifts that are inside you, because you have all the powers. All the powers God has given you. And I was watching a movie as well. It was saying that all the powers are within us. It's just us taking that time to connect with who we are. Go within. And that's how we connect with who we are. Go within, listen to yourself, listen to your heart, and let go. I would say the greatest thing is to let go of the hurt, of the pain, of the memories. You know, people keep a lot of past memories and carry all these baggages with them. So it's about letting go and freeing yourself from all of that so that you can spread your wings and fly. So it's very, very important to do the work on yourself. It is painful, but it's so worth the pain, I tell you, because life is so great after doing the work. You feel better within yourself. I had a client recently, John, and she had depression for a long time, about 20 years. She didn't really have depression. It's very interesting. The doctor diagnosed her without doing any tests that she was schizophrenic, without doing any tests. And that girl has been taking medication over medication for the past 20 years. And this has affected her life, her self-esteem. And when she did the hypnotherapy session, she told me, now I have energy to get up. Now I feel better within myself. I never felt that for years. It's like, and she even got a transfer in her job that she was applying for the past 6 months. She never got until recently. So this has given her more drive to keep pushing forward and keep looking forward. It's amazing how when we do the work, how we transform our lives, because we are like that painter. We can paint what we want on that canvas. When I go painting, it's like that. I can decide what to do. So we are the painter of our life. We are the architect of our life. And we can manifest what we want. So I think it's very important for people to remember that it's not the external world that will do the work for them, that will give them the approval. It's about us giving us the approval, us giving us the permission to be who we are, and us giving us the love. Because so many of us didn't receive the love we wanted. So it is now high time, because we are adult. We are no more kid, 3-4 years old. So we are responsible adult. So we need to take our life in our hands and reparent ourselves, reparent that little child inside of us, and give that child all the love, all the care, all the time, and all the attention. And that is life-changing when we do that.
I totally agree. What a wealth of information you just shared with everybody, the stories and everything that you had with it. I just want to piggyback a little bit, and, I just want to go back how you said that, with the children, spending time, love, that's what they get. So I just want to say, like, I know there's a quote or there's a book out there. I think it's, it's Time to a Child spelled Love, or I'm sorry, Love to a Child spelled Time, Time. And that's very true. So, I mean, the amount of time you can put towards a children will build their confidence, their love, and respect and everything in any way whatsoever. So whatever you can provide is great. And unfortunately, I don't know what it's like in the UK, but unfortunately in the world I live in, everybody's more focused on grinding, going to work, 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week, whatever it is, yes, like you said, you have to provide and food and whatever, but it doesn't have to be the best of everything, right? Because that love, that support in the beginning is going to make that person even better on the other side. We just don't look at it that way, right? We're focused on like the immediate now in that sense. They think the future is going to be better when they make all this money or whatever it is, and it's not always the case, right? And with that, I want to add, there is a generational thing. So, what I've learned from my parents, is like, okay, that's how I have to be. And then that's how my kids have to be. But I'll say with you and a bunch of other guests I've connected with and other people off the podcast, you're making that divide. Like I'm done with that. And I'm going to go in this direction now. And I'm going to support other people to head in that direction as well. And so I feel like that's where I'm at as well. Like, pushing all the things aside, trying to, not just for me, but for kids and for everything else around me, trying to make them a better person and, build them the confidence and love and support that they need now. Self-esteem, is a big one that you just shared. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. I wish I could go back in my past and say, there was a turning point and all that stuff. And I'm not sure if I can dig into that right now, but, yeah, I want to say, childhood is a big, big thing. And, I don't know how I was raised that would provide me the values and stuff I have today. I'll have to dig into that a little bit more. So, you have me thinking, but it's, this is great. There's so much stuff I could probably jump in here and start touching a little bit more, but I think we'll probably have to schedule another call sometime or, podcast and dive in, because the hypnotherapy, I wanted to dive in a little bit. I had a guest on before and he shared his experience and how he's been helping people and stuff like that. So maybe we'll have you come back, but how does somebody reach out to you, connect with you, get to maybe just have a one-on-one, dive into a little bit how you can help them or maybe help their children, and so what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yes, the best way to reach me is through my website. So I've got 2 websites. One is mousevenuscoach.Rani.com. And the second website is www.drrani.com. Rani, R-A-N-I. No, sorry. The website is www.drranithanacoody.com. So these are my two websites, and people can reach me on Instagram, which is more easily accessible. So Rani Thanacoody on Instagram. So I've got my accounts, and I am also on Facebook, and I've got my podcast. So my podcast is called Amazing You by Dr. Rani Thanacoody. So they will find me on YouTube. I am on YouTube, Podbean, Buzzsprout, Spotify. So they can always reach me, and I give them a free 30-minute discovery call. So I would have a chat with them to see if they are fit to do the hypnotherapy, because there are some medical conditions that that if clients suffer from, we do not treat the clients, like schizophrenia or epilepsy. And I would be very happy at any time. So please feel free, everybody. I give you a free 30 minutes discovery call, and then we can take it from there. And I do it online, so they can stay in the comfort of their home when they have the session, which is wonderful, you know. They don't have to travel to pay for anything, so they can just stay at home and have the session, which is amazing. Now we can connect with people from all over the world and have online sessions. So, yeah.
It is great. And that's how we are able to connect like this.
Yes.
So the same question I ask every guest, what are 3 key things you've learned and used along your journey?
3 things I've learned. First one is to love myself. Give myself the love that I always was looking for. The other things is also, I know that I have come here for a purpose. Whatever is happening for me is just making me stronger, because every person, whether I'm finding it it's challenging to deal with them, but it's teaching me something about me that I need to work on. And the third thing on that journey is to forgive. Love myself. Everybody is a teacher to you. And to forgive ourselves and forgive the people. And that's where the greatest breakthrough happens, or when we do all these things. So forgiveness, it's not so much for the other people, but it's for ourselves, for all what we've overcome. And as we let go, as we forgive, we can free ourselves from all the pain. So these are the key 3 things I learned on my journey.
That's great. I love them. And I enjoyed our conversation, everything you had to share with our listeners and stuff. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much, John. It's been incredible talking to you and your audience. Thank you for this opportunity to be with you today on a Saturday. Thank you for making the time to allow me to share here. And yes, I look forward to coming anytime again, and we'll stay connected. And definitely, I would love to share more with your audience. Thank you. Thank you so much, John.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.